we'll discuss 16 Broad. No, that's another thing. That's, I'm thinking that's part of it. We'll do this. We'll do the hearing first.
Okay. Hey, Jeff.
Mike or John joining us today? Do we know?
Let me ping them both.
Is Rob, Hannah, is Rob joining us?
We had a meeting at 2 o'clock. So I don't know if that ended quite yet for him to join us. I'll shoot him a text.
I'm shooting Mike and John text. All right, Mike Miseroli's getting on right now.
Okay. I think we've got a, well.
Or John's coming on. John's coming on right now, rather.
Tree committee meeting, we've got a quorum, so.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter for the hearing because that's separate. So let's wait for Mike to get on and we'll go from there.
Actually, it's John that's coming on. I don't
Oh,
know.
John's coming on too. Okay, good.
Just coming on. I don't know about Mike yet.
Good. I don't care. Try now. Your microphone is on.
All right, we have John here now. I say for the sake of time, we should probably begin.
Hello,
Yep. Hi, John.
how are you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Not too bad. Sorry I'm late. My truck clock is a little bit behind what my phone is saying. I apologize.
No problem. I mean, not that late. All right. All right. I want to bring the tree removal hearing to order, and I'll recognize Terry Sanford or anybody else that's speaking for the tree, the removal of the tree, to have the floor.
Hey, this is Terry. I don't actually have anything in particular wanted to present. I think the tree in question is a smaller tree. I sort of expect there's some other stuff that the committee may want to talk about, which we're happy to address. But other than that, I think we're just here to sort of listen and answer any questions as they might come up.
Okay, very good. All right. Anybody on the committee have any comments?
So what I think would be really important for everybody involved in the project and particularly for you guys, Terry, so you can, just stay ahead of the health of that elm that's right in front of the Roberts house. That is, of course, our greatest concern, and that's sort of why the removal of the crabapple came into play. The removal of crabapple, as you know, is to allow some access to the site that is far enough away from the root zone of the elm. So I think there was a note or a letter that sort of spelled out some of the protocol for the protection of the elm. And one thing that I think is really important is that Blue Flag retain a certified arborist for at least the duration of the excavating work at the site. To be there every day during any excavation activities and utility installations. And then probably could go down to a lesser role, but maybe checking on the site periodically to maybe on a agreed to time frame as the project goes forward, just to make sure that everything is staying in good health and protection.
This is Terry. I'll just respond. Yeah, that's consistent both with our understanding of what the tree committee is really focused on in regards to that elm tree. And I actually believe our planning board approval requires the use of a arborist. So we're totally on board if the tree committee wants to, create some specification around how much and when the arborist is involved and on site. I think that's all reasonable and appropriate, and we're happy to accept that and again follow any directive that they provide, as we're doing the work.
Great.
Anybody else? Yeah, I had a meeting with Matt down there, I don't know, last week or a couple weeks ago, I can't remember which, but what I indicated was I'd like to see if there are any roots exposed, particularly with the pier work that's going to go on on the porch area, that air spading be the protocol for excavating, doing that excavating. I'm sure you're gonna find roots there anyway, so that's my concern. But as far as speaking for myself, I have no problem with removing the crab to facilitate getting things in and out of there.
And Terry, have you identified a potential arborist that could come on to the project?
I believe we've started to engage with Jim Cook.
Yeah.
I could confirm that, but I know we've really spoken to him about it early on.
Okay.
I think the current intent is that he would be the selection, again, unless we were directed to go a different direction.
Jim would be great.
Jim would be very, very acceptable.
Yeah, Jim would be great.
All right. Well, since I've got no problem with this, the only thing involved with the removal, when granting the removal, you've got a Blue Flag has got to. There's a formula as far as the caliper of the tree.
For the replacement.
The replacement value of it.
Yeah.
It amounts to money being deposited in the account of one of the nurseries here on the island, to purchase a tree there in the future. And it's based on, and I think it's, what's an 1.5 or 2-inch caliper? I can't remember.
I think it's a multiplier of, I think it's a multiplier that goes up with the inch diameter breast height. Rob McNeil actually has the formula in a document. So I think that, why don't we get the replacement value of that, just a blue flag as a figure rather than a calculation.
Yeah, because that money has to be transferred prior to the removal of the tree. As I get the way things will move forward.
That's no problem on our end. And
Yeah.
look, I think we just need to know the dollar amount.
Yeah, yep. And that's something that the DPW will come up with.
Okay, so who should I follow up with on that?
I think I would follow up with Rob.
With Rob. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
I can also be assistance. Charity Grace will be out for a while, but I'm always here to help as well.
Yeah. Hannah, do you know are you familiar with the formula?
What you were saying sounded really familiar from the last time I was a part of one of these meetings. I did just try and find that document, though I couldn't find it. Couldn't find it easily right now, so I'll have to look around for it.
Yeah, I think we can button that up.
I think we just actually need to go take an exact measurement of the caliper of the tree.
Yep.
And we can do that and get the.
I think we
background.
put that in the original letter, but I'll double check that. And then obviously if you guys want to check it on your own basis, that's fine as well.
Okay.
All right. Like I said, we're fine with the removal based on what we've discussed here, and I think you'll be able to move forward on that. I will email you a letter stating that the removal is can go forward.
Great. Thanks so much, David. And I'll confirm that we have Jim Cook registered
Yep.
as on the project, and we'll follow up with Rob to coordinate the transfer of those funds.
Sounds good.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
You.
All right. Thank you. All right. Moving on. Hopefully Rob gets here. We've got,
Did you get the agenda?
I do, I have it right here on my phone.
I can send
All
it.
right, new business, 16 Broad Street planting plan.
Broad Street planting plan. Hang on a second. Where are you looking?
It's 8
No,
on
new
the
business, yeah.
agenda, number 8.
16 Broad Street planting plan. Has there been some discussion about planting in those islands or something?
On 16 Broad Street?
Yeah, no, I don't know where
What
I'm not
islands?
sure where this is, where they're talking about.
Yeah, I don't
Uh,
recall talking about that in the past. I don't recall that ever being brought up.
Let me look it up on GIS real quick.
Did it have to do with replacing the conifer that went down in the fall? No.
Is that the town, is 16
Is
Broad
16
Street?
the town building? Yeah, maybe. Is that the
Oh,
town
yeah.
building?
Sorry, that's the construction behind the town building.
Oh, right. There we go. Okay.
Okay.
Right. So when I met with Rob and Dale in back a few weeks back, we thought we'd get our heads together at this meeting and think about what would be appropriate back there. I have yet to see a plan, a kind of a schematic for the thing. There's going to be walkways that go through that area. I think it's got a lot of potential to be kind of a nice little pocket park. And it might be, if we all can get a hold of a plan, it might be interesting to maybe all of us in our spare time, maybe develop some sort of a planting plan on our own, and then kind of present it to each other or whatever by way of a PDF or whatever.
Is it, where is it exactly?
It's
Where's
it's between the old fire station and the town building.
Yeah, if you're going to use the restrooms,
that part, that side, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
It's a ladies' room side of the
yeah.
of that.
And they're
And
like a Civil
they are
War,
structured-
Civil War. Go ahead.
Sorry.
Ben. Where the monument is? Is there a monument back there or something?
it's-
I know they do.
It's in back of that of the War Memorial or
Yeah,
Veterans
that War
Memorial
Memorial,
there.
exactly, right, okay. Gotcha, yeah, that'd be cool.
I think the area's got a lot of potential.
Yeah,
They
definitely.
want to
Shade
have,
garden back there?
what's that?
Probably doesn't get much sun, a nice shade garden back there, is that what we're talking
Shade
about?
garden, or I think there's enough, we could plant trees back there and create a shade garden.
Is it not shady enough? Like, is it between the buildings?
Well, I think it'd be kind of nice.
Are we,
Well,
sorry,
some of the trees are, oh, there's Rob.
hey guys,
You're on Main Street.
are we underway?
We're underway. We're all done.
Are we all done?
No,
Okay.
but the hearing, we had the hearing first, Rob.
Oh, good, okay.
So that's, they're fine. I think that's going to work. They just got to be in touch with you about the money figure for the tree to be deposited with a nursery here.
And where, all right, I'll catch up with Hannah on this. One item that came up, which I was just dealing with, and I brought Dale into my office to weigh in on this, was 38 Westchester. We just got a report today that the neighbor apparently entered onto the town property and cut all the trees that were basically along the property line that were in question, that we were trying to get to the bottom of, how that was going to play out. So they took it upon themselves and cut that. So it's made quite a mess. They left behind quite a mess. And apparently we found out that the neighbor came out and said something to the effect that that they had permission to do it. But again, if I remember the discussion, it was to go back to the notes from last winter and to determine exactly what the determination was by the committee. Because there was, if memory serves me, in order for them to take any action, they needed to have a tree credit deposit in place, and that has not been received. So I was a little shocked to hear about this today.
So what avenue of do we have at our disposal to after the fact here?
I would say we need to, well, I plan to research the contact and find out exactly who this person is so we can at least start a discussion about it, because I don't even have that.
I have a pretty good idea. So we can
So-
discuss.
We'll have to pull the file on that, Hannah.
I think you're right, Rob. That definitely needed the tree credits before any work could be done. And I actually also think that the DPW was going to be
Supposed
doing
to do the work.
I
Yeah.
thought so too.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
a little troubling. It's the first
Yeah.
time I've had this happen since I was here. So we'll have to work through it.
Well, you have our support on that.
Yep.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Fine wise, I don't, there's fines in place for cutting town-owned stuff. It's like it doesn't amount to much.
Yeah, we just got the tree credits are what, if that was,
The
that's
tree
what we
credits
want.
would be,
I will
Are they-
follow up on that, and I'll actually give you a call, Dave, once I
Yep.
get to the bottom of it.
okay.
Could we do the tree credits? I'm assuming that they did not remove the stumps. Could you do the tree credits based on an estimation of what
I think the
stumps
tree
are
credits
there?
were already something that was determined as part of the original ask, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so too.
But yes, I mean, that's a good point, if they haven't been removed yet.
No, the stumps are still there.
Yeah, so Dale says the stumps are still there.
I can get a measurement tomorrow morning.
Let's pull the file, Hannah, if you can get that from last fall. And 38 Westchester is the address, and I'll try to get to the bottom of it with you tomorrow.
Or two.
I heard you guys talking a little bit, I think, about the bike park behind 16 Broad. And
We just
planting
started
plan.
discussion on it.
I remember when we were back there looking at it, we talked about, I just made notes, so I wanted to make sure I didn't forget. We talked about possibly yellow wood or golden rain tree. So
Yep.
I just made notes. I wanted to make sure I brought it up again today when we met.
Or even the eastern redbud.
Or Easton Redbud is from Dale. One thing I am thinking about is, that pretty soon our contractor will have that area prepped. We're going to be doing some regrading back there. We removed those sycamore maple that were up against the building. So the area is sort of prepped for the contractor to come back and do the site work. Once what I'll call the landscaping beds have been roughed out, I think I could take some measurements, get those out to you guys, and then get some input on what some of the plantings suggestions would be. And again, we're leaving that, what is it, the yew, Japanese yew? So the Japanese yews, we were able to preserve through this whole thing. And those are kind of be like the focal point in the back there. But everything from there to the memorial is going to need some sort of refreshing, something new. So if the committee has a chance to get out there and check it out, behind 16 Broad, there's going to be brick high and low. And I can actually send a sketch around to the committee just to take
Yeah,
a look
a
at
sketch
that
would be
concept.
great, for everybody.
Yeah. It's basically this, and this, I'm sorry. It's basically this. I'll just send it around. It's the concept plan for the brickwork and the landscaping.
Okay,
All right.
let's see what.
Hey, Jeff and Whit, you guys are muted. I don't know if you know that.
Who's on mute? Am I on
I'm
mute?
on mute.
And Whit is on mute as well.
Talked about
Maybe you want to be on Whit.
Linden on Mulberry today.
Have to speak here.
Get Linden.
How is that better?
Yep.
That's better.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to add, I was over there the other day, and it's a shame all that nice plant material's been trampled, all the lilies of the valley and everything. And it's too bad some of that couldn't have been fenced off and, given away or something. It looks like a war zone back there. I know the contractor's just doing their thing, but, it's a shame whether we could have recycled some of that or moved it or just given it away. But anyway, food for thought.
Time has passed for that.
Oh, obviously,
You're
but,
right.
especially with this drought going on, everything's struggling back there. But it was just too bad to destroy. There was a lot of collateral damage back there.
Yeah, I had never even been back there up until my meeting. I didn't even know that space existed.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then was,
I would say, just to answer back a little bit, Whitfield, that there, essentially, there's quite a bit of material that had been planted as part of the memorial towards the front. Behind the memorial has largely been, I would say, unmaintained, just random plantings, or I forget the term for the ones that just end up there with birds deposits. But these were not well thought through landscaping plans that, I do understand, obviously, if we can recycle or reuse some of that stuff, it's great. But I think it was high time that we reimagine all that stuff back there. And until we had this plan pulled together, the contractor there's been two contractors back there. One that's been tearing out the old underground fuel storage tank that supported all those buildings, and built a new building enclosure for the above ground storage tank to replace one
Right.
of those for the town building. And then on top of it, National Grid came in and determined that the transformer that fed all of those buildings was out of date and needed to be replaced. So we worked with them to locate a brand new transformer, all brand new meters, which the town has never had for that campus. It's only had one meter on the transformer to feed all the town buildings. So it's all new services from that new transformer to each of the buildings. So it looks that way because there's been a tremendous amount of work back there.
well, sounds like an opportune time to do all those things at once. No, I appreciate that. That sounds great. I just, I mean, I live up behind the Higginbotham house, and boy, there's a dire need for plant material up there. And so if anybody sees anything that can be recycled, it's, but okay, food for thought in the future then. Thank you so much, Rob.
You got it. Thanks, Sue. Thanks for the questions.
Yeah. And then, one more thing. Was there a euonymus bush up there? I remember the maple, I guess it was. That was a pretty good sized tree.
What are you talking about? A burning bush, you mean?
Could have been.
Or a Japanese euonymus?
Either or. There's just a stump left, and I'm trying to recall. I used to cut through there, and I remember, obviously it was a lot more plant material back in the day. So,
Well, I think
I was just curious.
we got a clean slate there, and I think the potential for quite a nice pocket park is there. So
Yeah. This is going to be nice. We have some plans right now. We're getting some grant funding as well. So this is going to be quite a place for bike parking and probably picnicking for any takeout from nearby restaurants or even town employees to be able to come out of those buildings and utilize. There's
Great.
future plans as well once the health department relocates to the fire station up at 131 Pleasant Street. Once that building comes down, that'll be an extension of that park as well. So it'll be bricked and landscaped right next to the town visitor services bathrooms.
Nice. Okay.
Dale has a question, and I'm going to step out for once so he can ask it.
Hey, Dave.
You can step in.
Hey, Dave.
yes, Dale.
Have we taken a look at that linden on Chestnut? It is in bad shape.
Yes, I when I was looking at the project on Center Street, it's got to come down, Dale.
Without a doubt.
Yep. But
The
You know-
root damage is just never recovered.
I think I think now that we've got some kind of conversation going with Blue Flag, they should probably take that thing down
Okay,
because it's a town tree.
yeah, but
Well, or we take it down, and I mean, it's,
either or it needs to come down, whether they take it down, Dave, or we take it
yep,
down.
yep.
because
I
there's too
agree with
many-
you. I think it's
There's too many strike zones.
it's going to only become more and more dangerous.
And have you looked at that big elm on Westchester at number 20? 20 or 22 is
Geez, I was just there today.
that one elm is in serious shape.
Yep.
I mean, it's not a question that it should come down. It's just a matter of when can we get it down.
I'll have a look at it.
Matter of fact, I may have to
Just
look
by
into
there
that
today,
state.
and I didn't look up.
Yeah, it's in bad shape.
Yep.
To clarify for the minutes, the Linden, where was that located? The
22 Westchester.
West 22 Westchester.
That's,
Yeah.
It's two houses. They just redone them.
that's the elm.
Both properties.
That's the elm. The Linden's on India, right?
The Linden
Oh,
is on,
Chestnut.
what street is the Linden on?
Chestnut. Flower, it's right across from Flower by Chestnut.
Yeah, Chestnut, right.
Okay, thank you.
So it's in pretty bad shape. And we need to look at that elm, 22 Westchester, 2022 Westchester. The two houses
Also, I
need to get
noticed when I was on Lower India, in front of the Roberts house, that big elm that's there has
That one
has some
side,
serious
everything else
deadwood
is
up
in
in
great
it.
shape. It's just that one side. I'm gonna have to block the street off and get to that this winter.
Yeah, good.
That's on my list of things to get done.
That's another dangerous situation right
Yeah,
there.
but the other side of it is in pretty good shape.
Yeah, oh, it for sure.
It's in great, matter of fact, it's in great shape. All right,
Sounds good.
all right,
I'm
guys.
looking at
We'll
I'm
be in
looking at the
touch, though.
back, the background there, Dale. That's quite a look up Main Street back in the day.
Yes, that's what makes you, yes.
Yep, that's back when
I used to have that card.
yeah, I'll bet. I thought you kind of pulled up in that today.
Yes. All right, Dave. See you guys soon, man. Ben.
Okay,
Nice seeing you,
thanks,
man.
Dale.
You do. Thanks.
Take care, Dale.
Thanks for inviting me.
Okay, so anything on Union Street any Jeff? Jeff, are you on? Jeff Smith?
Yes, I am. I'm at 1%, so I'm going to lose you here in a minute, but I'm definitely on.
What, you hear anything about Union Street lately?
I have not heard a peep.
Okay, well, that's,
Nope.
no news is
But-
good news.
You'll be the first person to know if I do. My direct link is just Liz Coffin that lives 2 houses down. So
Yeah, okay, good. Yep, all right.
Where is that? Are they reapplying to the planning board or something? Was that the last we heard? What was going on? What sort of prompted
it
this
was
getting
just
back on the?
Yep, it was just a conversation with Liz, and she said that the owners were moving forward with some new plans. So I didn't confirm that at all. That's just hearsay, but I wanted to just kind of put a red flag up.
Keep it on the radar, yeah.
That's right. Yep.
Is Dale still, the next item is 10 York Street. I forgot to ask him about that, if he's ever looked into who did that pruning, the illegal pruning on the catalpa on York Street.
I can see if I can get him back over here. I was going to ask because I was contacted by, I think Ken Bogrand and Mary Longacre were trying to get into this meeting. If you saw them.
They just texted me too, and I sent them the link.
Okay. All right, so they may be joining us. I'll see if I can get Dale. One second.
And Jeff, what number was that on Union?
20, it's 20 something or other.
And yeah, 23 maybe. It's on the
23 or
west,
20.
thanks.
west side.
It's right by, was it right by Flora Street?
Yep. Mm,
Yeah, right by Flora. It's near Flora Street.
Yeah, it's after Mulberry
you.
on the left.
Yeah, correct.
Minutes all approve, or do you all approve of the minutes from the last meeting?
Yes.
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Were we supposed to approve the minutes of the last meeting?
Yeah.
Where's that?
So number,
Oh, yeah.
item, number 3 on the agenda,
Okay.
first page.
All right. Okay, do we have a motion to approve the minutes of the last meeting?
So moved.
We have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
I
Okay.
Dave, I did speak with Dale, and he is not familiar with who was responsible for trimming the tree at 10 York Street.
Yeah, every time I go by there, it bothers me. It's one thing to prune it, but prune it improperly is
Yeah. Yep.
it's terrible.
Almost.
Okay. Okay, Appleton Road.
So,
Talked about tree planting the last time on Appleton Road.
yeah, what we were trying to do is put together some discussion about what would be appropriate on Appleton Road. We had some report a while back about, it started with a complaint about someone who had placed stones in the right-of-way to prevent people from parking, and escalated from there. We investigated it. Ken Bogrand and I investigated it with Stephen Arsenault for the encroachment, under the encroachment policy. And the neighbor made us aware that, you know, there's a situation along the street about parking and enforcement and street trees, and a little, you know, kind of educated me a bit about the history of the street and how it was taken for a public way. There's easements for the sidewalk that's there, and did a little investigation work. There's actually, I think it's less than $10,000, but there's a chunk of change that's, Ken. There's a chunk of change that's still in the capital coffers from a previous authorization that I felt could be an opportunity to do some beautification along Appleton, which could include, or maybe should include, some new tree plantings. So I asked Hannah to do some research, and I believe Appleton, maybe not Hannah, but Charity Grace, but someone, I saw the reaction. I believe Appleton Road was included in your packet. And if you had that and could share the screen, Hannah, that'd be great. I'm not sure if you have it or not, but it was, I think it was sent around in the meeting invite.
I think I have it here. I can share.
Is that the one about the tree roots and under sidewalks, or was that about something
This is
else?
just the, this is just the,
I think it says, it's called Appleton Taking.
yeah, let me see if I can share this. Can you guys see that?
There you go.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ben. So this shows roughly the location of the right-of-way, the private properties, the easements, and ultimately where the sidewalks are.
Right, so I can zoom in a little bit so you can see.
Yeah, the sidewalk goes right down the right-hand side of it.
Right.
Yeah,
So it's hard to see how wide, there's a bike path there.
yeah. It's
And
called out off to the side there as a 15-foot wide bicycle path and utility easement.
okay,
So that extends a little ways onto these properties. So I know
so
Ken has,
this is sort of the edge of the road here, the red.
yes.
Okay,
Yeah, it's labeled right there, edge of pavement.
yeah, okay. And then this is the
Then the sidewalk.
belt.
No, where is the sidewalk? Is that right by the side of the road?
Sidewalks here where, you probably can't see that. Let's see. You see my?
Oh, yeah.
It's,
I see.
yeah, it's labeled bike path just to the left of your cursor. There's an arrow that points from the labeled bike path there in lot 20. See that?
Okay. Lot 3.
So how much of a planting area do we have between the bike path and the road?
It's kind of slim.
Yep.
It's kind of
Like what's
slim.
kind of?
But I mean, we'd have to do dimensions and such. But I know Ken. I think Ken joined us.
Yes.
Ken, do you want to weigh in on this one?
Yeah, the distance is, my guess, it's about 15 feet, all from the edge of the road to the edge of the properties. And the sidewalk is right next to the properties. And then there's lawn that goes up to the edge of the road. And the problem is that people have been parking on the lawn, even though it's supposed to be no parking. And and you have, there's some rocks up on the top, and then further down, it has been mortally landscaped, and there are already some trees and rocks into it. And so the idea was to be able to try and do something that was consistent throughout the entire stretch of that road there.
So why don't we can probably look at it on.
Yeah, I just pulled up the Google Earth on my own screen just to take a look.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Google Earth doesn't have coverage all the way down Appleton, but it does from Bartlett anyway.
I mean, that does have the potential of becoming a nice tree-lined avenue there.
Exactly.
That's exactly what we're trying to do.
Yep.
Is to,
Now, how about the other side of the road? Is
Well-
it possible we get easements on the other side of the road from
Well-
homeowners that might be interested, or is that's a tree belt, actually, isn't it?
The utility poles run down that side.
Oh,
Dave.
okay. Oh.
So right now, the bike path side is the side that would really benefit
Yeah,
from
yep.
having a nice tree canopy.
Yep.
So this is sort of I can look at it here. Here's Appleton. Right. You guys see that?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's where it intersects Bartlett.
Right.
I mean, yeah, this
well,
whole,
it's this side of the road that because the other side of the road, I mean, the street goes all the way up to the edge of the thing, so
Yep.
you can't do much on that side of the road.
No.
But,
So that's
this
side-
side of the road has there's a reasonable amount, there's enough room to park a car between the edge of the road and the edge of the property and still not have it be dangerous. So that gives you some sense of the width of that whole section down here.
So I don't think, and I wouldn't expect us to be solving the world's problems on this today, like right now. But what I wanted to do was give you guys some tools to start from. And what I'd like to do is just invite the committee members to individually take a drive down Appleton and get your own sense of areas where you believe we could or should do some plantings, and come back with those next time so we can discuss it and maybe take some pictures or anything you'd like to kind of fill out this whole discussion point. Because like I said, I do have some money to spend that's in a remaining capital authorization for Appleton. And it may include things like road repairs or just something simple I think doing a meaningful investment in tree canopy there would make a lot of sense long-term.
Yep.
Sure.
And we must have more money in the tree credits program.
Oh yeah,
too.
no, I just wanted to, first off,
Use that.
to let you know that, this money goes way back. And
Yeah.
so when people start coming back to me and saying, hey, this stuff's been sitting here for a while. If you're not going to use it, we're going to reappropriate it. So I'm not too quick to just give it back. I
Yeah,
want to
no.
use it. It just happened that it came up as part of this discussion because Ken and I were following up on this report of an encroachment, and it started down this path. So I see it as an opportunity to really do what we talked about here. And maybe we'll find out otherwise, but it would be a good exercise to start here, give the committee an opportunity to sort of start with a blank sheet of paper here and see what we can do.
Yep.
And it doesn't have to be all done at once. I just want to throw that out too. I think developing a planting plan for this place would make a lot of sense. We could do what we can with what we have. And if we had to invest in it over years, then that's what we do.
Okay.
Great. Thank you.
Okay. What else we got? All right.
I guess one thing I would add is how would you like to go about this particular process? One thing that Ken and I have shared with the people that we spoke with on Appleton was that we would like to get some input from the neighbors. So what I was thinking was we could do it a couple different ways. I've handled it before. Is we could do the exercise I just talked about, have the committee members go out, do their investigation from your perspective, how you might go about it, and we can discuss that and come up with a concept at the next meeting. Or we could send out notices to the abutters that we're going to discuss this at an upcoming meeting, have them have the ability to come in and provide their input and feedback on what they might want to see. And then we could take that into consideration and come back with a more refined plan. Either way, I'm fine with it.
I think we got it. I think we sort of got to do both.
Well, yes, I think, again, from my perspective, sometimes what I'll do is I'll come up with a plan, whether I share it or not, I'll have it off to the side, and then I like to bring the neighbors in, talk it through and get their input, and then share what I've developed based on my experience, and then see where there's a sort of shared ideas and build off of that. And that has worked out really well with a lot of the sidewalk and other projects that we've worked on. But for here, I'm not I'm no landscaper for sure.
It might be nice to, stake it out. Sort of the density that we're thinking, and if it's trying to deter people from parking there, you'd want to plant it dense enough that you're not parking in between the trees, because that can be even worse.
And I do understand that the attention gets drawn, I think, to the parking because that's where the conversation started.
Yeah.
Based on what Ken and I have seen for pictures, and we can certainly share those, I'm not convinced that unless we were to do really substantially dense plantings, that it would necessarily prevent people from continuing the behavior.
Right. But it's just a trend in the direction that
I think
this is a green belt.
I think it's a green belt idea that if we were to really start to see these trees mature, that it really just adds a visual benefit to the neighbors.
Yeah.
It really enhances the look of the area.
I mean, it's amazing how much different Essex Road, for instance, look than it did 10 years ago. I attribute that largely to the trees that have matured in there.
For sure.
And the other thing that you can do is just do a combination, as they've done further down, of some trees and stones, so that you have the trees to create the green belt, and you have the stones that mean that there's nobody going to be able to get out of their car and move the stone and park in between the trees.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
Help
right, so-
protect the trees.
Yeah, so let's check it out. You guys want to, you can do whatever you'd like as far as sketch it out on this sheet that we sent you. Take pictures or come back with your suggestions. We can synthesize it into a concept plan, and then at a later meeting, we can invite the abutters to join us.
Sounds good.
Okay, thank you.
All right, anybody have anything else?
Good afternoon, gentlemen and
Hey,
lady.
Mary.
Hi, Mary Longacre. And if it's okay, I wanted to ask about 39 Union Street. I happened to see that real estate listing, and that is an in-town lot on the corner of Union and Flora. And they have the property on the market as a main house, and then the potential pending planning board approval for a covenant lot being subdivided off of that house.
Okay.
And on that corner are two large trees. I sent Rob a link that has sort of a schematic and a further one with a photo. I don't know if he's able to share those, but my question is, does the Tree Advisory Committee have an opinion about whether a building can be put on that subdivided covenant lot without harming the trees? And do you have any authority in the same regard if that looks like a problem?
So is this the same tree we were just talking about?
I don't know. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to join the meeting. I had the wrong link somehow, so I just got here. I don't know what you were talking about.
Ben, can you bring that up on a
Yeah, let me bring it up.
It does
30
look like
30
the same.
39?
Yeah, 39 corner of Union and Flora. There are two trees on the Flora Street side.
It's a big elm, and then I forget what the second tree going up is. But I know
Is this the same place? Is this the same place we were just talking about?
I think it
Third-
is.
Mary, are you here? Let me share my screen here a second. A second.
And I just forwarded Mary's email to you.
Okay, so 39 Union is here. Can everybody see that?
That's not the right property.
Okay, so do you know what the property is? Is it right around, this is where Orange Street comes into Union? Is
So
That
it's the
shows
corner
the,
of Union and Flora. So
Union?
it's a little further in
Keep going.
than Orange Street.
Oh, hang on a second. Okay, Union. Where's Flora?
Flora
there,
right up to
right there.
there.
Right there.
There's Coon,
There's something.
York, Salt Marsh.
No, it's back. Back towards the right around that area.
I think it's further down.
So if you have the link from the email, Ben, that'll pull up the real estate listing. That might be
Okay.
more informative.
Yeah, let's see. I think actually it's down here more. There it is, Flora. Let's see if I have the link. Let's see.
it's the 9-2, the one with the suffix is 9-2. Right there in the corner of Flora. Next one up.
That one.
Yeah.
That one. Okay. Let's see if I can zoom in. That's as far as we can go.
You can see the
Click on
Google
the
Maps
street
there in
view.
the top right corner,
What's that?
or top left, sorry. The
Top
Google
left,
map
it'll
has
give
an
you
image
the
there.
Google Street View.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a second. Sorry.
Yeah, you're in the wrong.
In the wrong place. No. All right. I think we just lost that. All right. I gotta go back. I don't know what the property number is of that. I had it, but
It shows up as 39 Union.
Yeah, it's showing correctly, but it's, I think you've changed the view around.
yeah, okay.
It's
hang on.
got 2 trees on it. So that's
Yeah,
not the
that's
same house that
35.
you were talking about before.
Let's just try this again real quick.
What was the question you had about it, Mary?
But the question is, if that lot is approved for construction, is it even possible to do construction on the lot without harming the trees? If they're town trees, is there any jurisdiction to just say, hey, you know, this is an idea that's doomed to fail? I don't know what the authorities are in that regard.
Well, we've got to have a conversation with a letter drafted to the
Planning board.
planning board regarding this lot that alert them to the fact that there are town trees on it.
Yeah, this was a similar, it seems to be a similar concern raised from that previous one at the corner of, I think it was Union and Francis.
Yeah, there's a similar situation down the street.
Where there was that garage or something they were going to try to.
Right.
Yeah, so it'd be a similar thing. And I think at that point, the committee or the tree warden had drafted a letter to the zoning board of appeals.
Yeah, in this case, it's a little more difficult because the lot hasn't been created yet. So, I mean, the lot is on the market, and I would hope to spare a potential purchaser the angst of spending $500,000 getting an architect to draw up plans and finding out that it's not buildable.
Yeah, I mean, I think fundamentally there has to be something in the town process that changes where the tree committee is involved earlier on in the, pre-planning board to put this language in there or recommendations or something, because it's just not fair to a potential homeowner if they've gone down the road too far once they get there,
Mary, have they applied for a lot yet? Have they applied for the subdivision yet?
All I know is that I saw the real estate listing and it says pending planning board approval. So I tried to look for it. I didn't see it recently. I don't know when they applied for it. The planning board, I'm sure, could help with that.
But to Ben's point, I think this is beyond this specific example. I think it's helpful to understand what obligation that the zoning or planning folks have, if any. I just throw it out this way, Ben. If it qualifies as a approval not required subdivision, which technically is not necessarily a subdivision, but it's I guess it is technically a subdivision. But if it's approval not required, then none of those jurisdictional rules apply at the point of division. It can be done under Mass General Law with the subdivision rules, and you'd never, no one would need to be the wiser. But it comes down to, I think, Mary, and this is just my personal opinion over years of dealing with developments. It really does come down to buyer beware.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of situations where I've had clients in the past who have come to me and said, I bought this property and and I knew right off the bat, looking through the various restrictions or parameters to design from, to engineer a lot, that it was unbuildable for the purposes that they had intended to do something with it. And so they're basically stuck if the buyer or if the seller didn't want to take it back from them. They really need to do some due diligence. And I agree, people are not necessarily wondering the first thing, whether that's a town tree or if the root systems would be detrimentally affected by what they're planning to do. But as part of that, effort to do the due diligence up front, that would be certainly something that would be expected of them.
And I agree with that completely. Again, the wrinkle is this is a covenant lot, and I can see that there would be pressure to allow somebody to build, and that would be detrimental to the trees. That, the sympathy for the purchaser might outweigh any concerns about the trees in somebody else's hands. I just, I'm glad that this is becoming a broader topic, something, that Ben referred to, but I'd like to know more about this particular instance, just to avoid a problem in the future and to make sure the trees are healthy and alive.
Sure.
So today I just wanted to bring it to your attention, and thank you for allowing me to join in and do that.
Yep.
I wonder if it'd be worth, maybe inviting somebody from planning into a meeting, one of these next meetings, and just sort of talk about process, see where we fit in their minds and where we'd like to fit in.
I think that's really appropriate. The other thing, obviously, there's been a bigger move lately with the reconstitution of the Historical Commission.
Yeah.
And I know certainly part of their support has been to recognize some of recognize the value of the beautiful canopy of trees that we have around the island. Besides the picture in the background behind me of Main Street, so many other streets that have this really distinct canopy that adds to the whole character and value of our historic island. So it's interesting to see how, I don't know if that plays out in the regulations, if it's not a HDC level of jurisdiction, but it's certainly something that I think we should hear from planning to find out what kind of advice or not is either within their policies, procedures, or just advice column when they're dealing with homeowners and developers.
Well, and you can exactly replicate a 200-year-old building if you have to, but you can't exactly replicate a 200-year-old tree without waiting 200 years. They're irreplaceable.
Yeah, I would like to see this have sort of the weight of an HDC decision, or at least a procedure to go through, and not just we're sort of reactionary to it.
In one way, in this particular type of situation, Ben, I would say correct. Until it comes to our attention, we rely on, I would guess, someone knowing that the tree inventory was something that they could access to confirm, what tree was a town tree or not, and then how it may or may not apply to this. But it's worth starting that conversation.
Yeah.
Well, we could reach out as part of the notes here for action items for next meeting and try to get
Andrew or Leslie or somebody.
Try to get Andrew or someone from planning to come forward and have that discussion.
That'd be good.
Okay. Anything else? All right. Okay,
All right,
so
thank you all.
have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor? See you
Aye.
next time.
Thanks, guys, ladies. Thanks, Hannah.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Have a great night.
Thank you.